Hey guys, my name is Ryan,
And my name is Miska.
and welcome to Overwatch Central. We're going to do another Q&A, answer some of your questions that you had. If you want to ask us some more that aren't in this video, then do put them below in the comments, or also put them on Twitter, which is @OWCentral, and we'll be sure to answer them, because we have some pretty good questions here too.
Alright, first up we have one from the YouTube comments. It's from Lionel Buckingham. Question is, do you think that the Petrus act in the Recall animated short is related to the Petra map in general, or is it just a coincidence? I've not seen anyone mention this before. I think it was a really interesting question that Ryan actually showed me. And the thing about it, if you don't know, the Petrus Act in Overwatch is basically the act that was passed, I think, in the UN, essentially, to ban Overwatch as a concept and as an organization as a whole.
I always thought that Petrus was the last name of somebody, that it was like their act. So
Yeah, I feel like it might have been a last name as well. I feel like that does ring a bell.
I think it's more of a coincidence than anything, but I'm sure like somebody like Hammy would doing a lot of stuff would be able to go over some of the stuff.
Definitely check
He
out
did a
Hammy's
video
channel.
recently because there's been a lot of like new interactions between people, a lot of lore and story update with Symmetra and Lucio,
We'll try to link to that video in the top right corner of this one, so you can check out Hammy's video on that.
American Fist asked, hey, I was just wondering what Overwatch League team is your favorite at the moment, and what changes should McCree should get?
Wow, those are two very different questions.
I think Overwatch League, fairly quickly, you're more of a
Yeah.
Dallas Fuel fan. I don't know about that nowadays.
I've been following Dallas Fuel a lot. I mean, they did pretty well not too long ago. There was a very good 3-0 just recently. Honestly, with Overwatch League and teams, there was no team that I ever like just supported over all of the other ones, because the thing about Dallas Fuel for me was that I liked a lot of the initial players. A lot of the initial players have changed. A lot of the players that play have changed. A lot of things have changed about that team. But the thing I like about the team was just basically all the personalities sort of in it from many players. Of course, on top of that, I would say I'm a bit of a Philly Fusion fan as well, to be honest.
I think
I would
Philly
definitely say I like that team a lot too. But those are probably my top teams. I like NYXL, but it's kind of hard for me to say that I'm a big fan of the team. But Philly Fusion, I'd have to go with right now. Dallas Fuel, yeah, I like them too. I like to follow them.
Yeah, I have the London Spitfire. I have a hat that Sty gave me, and I also have a jersey. But we had to sort of get those in the first week that we were there. So we went to the Overwatch League first week, and we're hopefully going to get very soon. So that's news that might come out fairly soon too. But like, I kind of had to feel like I had to get a jersey, so I got London because representing. But since then, I like Philadelphia a lot more. I like the style that they play. Boston have also impressed me. I think everybody's writing them off to be bad.
For sure.
But also stuff like Houston and stuff. There's just so many teams that I quite like, but not really picked one that I sort of support. I think it's more when you look at the matchup and go, I'd rather Houston win against New York XL or Shocker playing Shanghai. So, it's sort of you going for the underdog or just in every game, which I kind of did a little bit in football too. So if I had to pick a team, it'd be Philadelphia, I think, definitely. And also changes to McCree. It's difficult. McCree's like a really awkward hero.
Does he need changing? That's the thing. Like, he's a very good hero at just collecting a Pharah out of the sky, but that is pretty much all he really does right now. He doesn't do too much more. And I don't think he's OP in any way. I think it's very fun to watch a very good McCree player, because like with just any aim-based hero, the skill ceiling will be very high. And in general, I like McCree a lot as he is. I play him a lot in Deathmatch, actually. It's probably my most played hero in Deathmatch, which is funny, is being a Winston/Reinhardt main.
No, I've been trying to play a little bit more in Deathmatch, but when you run into Moira's and Brigittes all day, it can be a little bit frustrating. The issue with buffing McCree is if you just push him up a little bit or something, he's going to be like really obnoxious to deal with. It's sort of like
beta where he was just the sniper. Like, he would just kill a Widowmaker from miles away if the Widow stood still for even just a few seconds. And yeah, I mean, we all saw that went in beta. Well, anyone that played the beta will remember that for sure. And yeah, I think he's fine. All right, next up is from Caesar the Salad. Wow, it's the one. Real question. It feels to me that nerfs and buffs are highly dependent of the pro players' opinions rather than the experience of the vast majority of the community. Do you think that Blizzard takes the pro players' feedback way more heavily into account for hero changes than regular players' games and opinions? Wow. Okay, this is a very difficult question to answer, because at the end of the day, Blizzard are just people as well. It's not like they look at the entire community's opinion and just go, you know what, let's just not care about what 80% of these people are saying, and just pick the like more top 20% of the players on ladder, and then just the very top with the pros. It's not really like that. It's not really as simple as that. Sometimes Blizzard make mistakes. They revert things. They rework heroes that they felt like they've done a bad job with over the past year or so, and that's just a human error. Like it happens. I don't feel like there's as much depth to that as a lot of people think. However, definitely they do take a lot of pro players' opinion on the heroes as well, because they don't want heroes to be ridiculously out of line for the people that can play them to the absolute best degree. So I feel like, yes, they definitely do care a lot about what pro players think, but that's not a bad thing, because if you look at how the pro sort of meta evolves, a lot of the time there will be heroes that are just really, really good and are a must pick in maybe high master, but definitely in GM and top 500 sort of games. And then if you look at bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, those same heroes are just not played at all. So that's where it's kind of like you don't really cater towards the pros in that way. You just kind of make changes that affect your pro scene, but won't affect lower levels, just or lower, well, ranks, I guess you could say. Just because people just don't play those heroes. It's as simple as that. I feel like it's very hard to just cater for everyone. They definitely listen to the pros, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, the good thing about listening to pros is not only are they the sort of highest tier, but they play thousands of hours in this game, like more so than us as well, so they do have a validated opinion in those areas where playing these heroes in complete stress tests against the best players in the world, you really see what heroes are really good, what heroes are pointless. No Symmetra at all in the Overwatch League. No doubt that will continue through Stage 4 and the actual playoffs. But it does raise the point, you're like, this hero isn't being played at all. However, the pros, unlike people, sometimes you have players like Tavik, Custer, Jake that are very eloquent and know what they're talking about and can project what they feel and have a lot of game knowledge. There will be some pros as well that would like just nerf Mercy, she's shit lol. There's 100 plus pros in the scene, and some of them aren't going to...
Well, they're even more with contenders and so on.
Yeah, exactly.
And those players are not bad either.
So, they're even, they're a small community in themselves, and Jeff Kaplan said there's loads of micro communities in Overwatch, in our ELO, which will be very different to yours, to the pros, even in different continents too, where the game can be vastly different. So, listening to the pros is good because they have the most time in the game. They know what heroes will become oppressive and will become must picks. They called out Mercy before she was too strong. Hanzo, they were like, if this goes in the game, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Brigitte, they had issues with. But they're not the only ones in the game. And I think Blizzard are doing as best a job as possible. They're listening to the pros enough, but they're not going to completely listen to everything that they say because it's a bigger community than most people think. And they all don't agree. That's another thing.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Next up is Min or at TME1991 on Twitter asking, ever consider doing a segment on Overwatch League focused news? Things like players being traded, relevant drama, scandals, analyzing players' stats, etc. This is a thing that I think we've been asked before, and we've actually asked ourselves this a lot as well. We don't want to cover Overwatch League in a light that portrays that the interesting news is just any scandal or any misbehavior or any drama between people, because to be honest, that's not Overwatch League. That's things that sort of hinder Overwatch League more than anything else. And sure, a lot of people like drama, a lot of people like gossip.
And it's successful on YouTube as well, exactly. That's another thing.
Yeah, it's been a thing for absolutely ages in other media, in other sports leagues, but just in general, it's gonna be a thing, it's gonna get a lot of attention. We don't want to make videos on it because of that, but on top of that, I just feel like it doesn't really belong on this channel at all. And we just don't feel like it's something that, if people want to read about it on various subreddits, on Twitter, in Discords, all over the place, feel free to. I mean, I obviously we do as well. And sometimes we will look into that stuff more, read more about it because it is interesting. Maybe you don't know a lot about certain relations between players and coaches or other people on different teams, but it's just not something that we're very interested in covering. However, the part about being the trades and the analyzing player stats and so on, that's a lot more interesting to us. It's something we try to do more.
Yep.
The thing, it's very hard to keep up with because sometimes you release or you sort of start talking about trades between different players, and then 2 days later there are even more and even just loads more trades. So maybe between stages that's something we can do. Maybe that's something we'll mention in some of the upcoming Overwatch League content we do have, but yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, and I think we do a good amount of Overwatch League content anyway, but just to keep it short, we do try and do stuff, but when it's appropriate. When we cover what the pros are doing with triple tanks, triple supports, how they're countering Brigitte or Hanzo, it's so that people can take that information and take it into their own games. However, like that's very difficult to do in stage 4 because it's on an older patch. So we try and make it appropriate. We'll do videos like when we can go over the Overwatch League, but mostly how will it be appropriate to you as a viewer? A lot of the time, maybe you don't care about the Overwatch League, and that's fine. A good portion of people don't. So we just want to do what we feel is appropriate and what we feel people are going to enjoy as videos.
Next up from @Cracker30 and also a follow-up question from @WashOW on Twitter. We have, what are your thoughts on Overwatch and your YouTube channel in the long run? Where do you see it in 2 years time or 5 years? Will there be an Overwatch 2 or will they just keep adding to it kind of like WoW? And then the follow-up question is also, have you or will you ever consider streaming full-time instead of doing YouTube? Now, this is a very sort of, I guess, very interesting topic for us. We talk about this a lot. And a lot of people actually talk, I don't know about you, but I get a lot of questions a lot of time when talking about YouTube that, what would you do if Overwatch just died one day? And it's really hard to
That's the obvious
say.
question to ask now. I remember like the days of like, you know, you made a channel called Overwatch Central, what are you going to do when Overwatch dies? And it's like, I think our opinion of that back then was, we'll cross the bridge when we get to it. And now we feel, I don't feel necessarily that we're getting to that bridge just yet. But you certainly, like, I think for us, I don't think Overwatch Central as a channel is ever going to change from Overwatch. It's not as if we're going to rebrand it to something else. Out of respect, I feel, just, you know, we built this from the ground up.
And out of respect from the audience, because like if I was watching a channel on YouTube and I've subscribed for a certain type of content,
and
I wouldn't
drastically change. You'd be like, what the fuck?
If it changes over time and those people want to do something differently, then sure. But in our case, I'd say it's very different. The channel's called Overwatch Central. It's meant for Overwatch. People are subbed one to Overwatch, and that's that. If people want more of us, we do stream ourselves. Well, that's always in the description, and that's also what Wash's question is referring to. And that's something that we've also been thinking a lot about, like streaming and just doing other stuff on the kind of side. And both of us definitely have done different things here and there. You've done some like more casting stuff, and it's just one of those things where we try to keep other sort of interests and other things going on the side, not to sort of set ourselves up for the future necessarily, but just because that's what we want to do. And it sounds very cheesy, but we're on YouTube, we're kind of content creators just like anyone else. We do know the process of making videos. If you watch any like vloggers or other types of YouTubers in any way, we probably know a lot about how they make their content just from our sort of workflow as well, and knowing other people. So like being a content creator on YouTube is a lot more than just knowing how to press record and talk about Overwatch news for 5 minutes.
Definitely.
And I think that's the main takeaway from it. As for the question about streaming full time or not, that's something that we definitely both, I think about a bit now and again, just because streaming is very fun to us. It's a different way of making content, and it's a lot more like us than just Overwatch Central. And even when we streamed on Overwatch Central, that Twitch account, it felt a lot more like it was still kind of like YouTube stuff in a way. But doing your own thing is pretty cool to do on the side. Streaming full time or not, I'm not sure. I would probably want to, well, either have something very interesting that I'm just playing all day in Overwatch for like 8 hours a day if I would have to get into that. Or I would just like, play other games too.
I think that's the main thing. The thing that I like is that balance between, you know, being able to do YouTube and sort of grow Twitch at the same time. I don't think if I was offered tomorrow that I could just stream full time but I'd stop making YouTube videos, I don't necessarily think I'd know if I'd take it.
Yeah, it's very hard to say.
It's a very different transition. However, like when you see like a YouTube channel in 2 years' time, I'm sure we'll retire Overwatch Central at some point. But I would personally, like, if a good game comes along that gets us excited about the game in the same way that Overwatch did, and we can make videos on this, then I'm sure that's maybe a channel that we'll make in the future. But I think the main thing is that we're not going to do like a Fortnite Central or Black Ops Central or anything like that.
Exactly. When Fortnite was going, when PUBG was going, especially when PUBG was going, because I was just, anyone that was friends with me on Steam knew that I was in PUBG all day, every day, around the time of like sort of March, April, May, June last year. That was the sort of thing that where people were genuinely asking, like, are you actually planning on recording videos, or are you even recording videos right now? I would get Steam DMs just asking, are you making PUBG Central? What's going on? And that's the sort of thing that it has to be that sort of thing where you just really, really want to make videos on it for it to properly work. And that was Overwatch Central from the start, and it still is, just in a very different way. Yeah. Overwatch from the start was just, we want the beta. How do we get the beta, basically? And it's a lot of time has passed since then, and a lot of things have changed. But I feel like at the end of the day, it's very much driven by sort of a passion for just playing a game or doing something. Yeah. And that's kind of like content creation as a whole, which is, I mean, why we're also making these sort of videos nowadays, because we feel like it.
I think the thing that I don't want to do is end up making like a monopoly of like a Fortnite Central or like a Black Ops Central. I don't want to make like several channels of a network. I just want to make a channel that is me and you playing the game, covering news when it's appropriate, but more or less being less, more personality driven instead of like around the game and then changing that now and again, because like I think that's going to be more fun. It'd be more, gives us more of an opportunity to talk and hang out as opposed to just be like, oh, Lego Overwatch, that's a thing, where it's just constantly news. It feels like we don't actually get to talk to our audience enough, which I think is why we resonate so well with Twitch. It gives us opportunity. It's a loaded question. It's something that we think about like more and more, but I'm sure like 2018 is going to have some pretty awesome games coming out, and who knows, there might be a new channel this year, but like we haven't decided anything yet. And that's everything we wanted to go over today. Again, if you have any questions of your own, do put them in the comments below. It can be about Overwatch, the channel, just us in general. It doesn't really matter. But thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, do like it and subscribe for sure. And until next time, take care. We'll see you then.